have to, oh, I'm going to pack mine heavier and hurry.
Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us today. We are at the Adventure Hiking Trail in southern Indiana, about to take on 25 or so miles of a nice rugged trail down here. How excited are we?
I'm very excited. It's been a long time.
Yep, it's been well over a year since we've been backpacking and been anxious to get on the trail, and we're here to find out if the adventure in Adventure Hiking Trail lives up to its name. All right, just getting on the trail. We are starting at the most northern terminus here, going towards the rendezvous point that actually hits the loop. I believe the loop itself is 23 miles and some change, but then this kicker loop out and back is I think 1.7 each way, so we should have somewhere in the 25, 26 miles, I suppose, by tomorrow. So should be a nice day. They were not calling for rain as of last night, and then as we were driving here, all of a sudden there's rain. So we will push through that. Hopefully that'll be really short-lived, but going to try to spend the night on the trail. We'll see how many miles we get in today. Shooting for a little over 20, getting started about 8:30, 8:45 in the morning, Eastern time. We'll see. I think it's going to get dark closer to 6, so we'll need to be off trail by 5, but let's get on the trail. All right, about a half mile in, get some nice views off to the north of the state forest. There's a river down there. Most of this right now, so far, just old gravel road. Come up on a first little wooden bridge here. All right, just over the bridge here, the first sign for the Adventure Trail. There's a horse trail, Upper Blue River, just up that way. We're gonna get into the woods now, off that little gravel road. This is something you don't see all the time, but this tree had fallen down and had a bunch of rocks interweaved between its roots. You kind of see how those trees just get in there and make it work. So pretty cool. As soon as we hit the trail, 200-foot descent right off the bat. So this trail is going to certainly be quite a bit of elevation gain, which should be a lot of fun. We have come to one of the many little crossings. There are quite a few little horse trails and such down here in these state forests. But the Adventure Hiking Trail is known for being very well marked, and so far that has proven true. Pretty views out there of the surrounding hills in this state forest. All right, it appears we have made it to the rendezvous point. What do we got here? Obena Woods Adventure Ride. There must be something going on. Okay, that's awesome. But we've made it to the rendezvous point. We are going to go do a clockwise direction. That sounds like fun, right?
Absolutely.
So we'll go that way. So yeah, south we go.
All right.
Well, we started this hike, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, the whole 9 yards, heated gloves, heated jackets, all that, right? We are, let's see, 1.85 miles in, and quickly shedding all of this. It's not the temperature, it is, you're going to get a good workout. So yeah, we're going to layer down a little bit before continuing on. All right, jackets are off. Cooling off a little bit now.
A little bit, but
A little
we'll
bit.
be good.
We're back on the move. All right, 2.5 miles in. Feeling really good. How are you feeling back there?
Very good.
Very good. Yesterday we did a 14-mile loop around Indian and Salina Lakes. Go check out that video. It's in the description after you watch this one. But we ended up doing probably about closer to 20 miles. We did a connector trail. That was, 4 out and back. And then we walked around down to the lake and stuff. If you haven't been there, the campgrounds there were really cool. There's plenty of people down there for such a cool evening. Yeah, go check that out. A little gear update here. Sporting the Fox Ellie trekking poles, fully adjustable. We've used these on some of our trails for several years now and have come in clutch. If you're looking for some trekking poles, I would highly recommend them. All right, walking up on one of the trailheads that says 309 on your map. Spot for a few vehicles, not a whole lot, but we are going to cross over 462 here. Harrison Crawford State Forest Adventure Trail. You know exactly where you're at because they tell you quite often that you're on the adventure hiking trail. All right, across the road, looks like we have 2.1 miles to Old Forest Road. Check out some rock formations here. We've walked past a few little creeks, dry creeks that run down these hills, but this one in particular just was stunning. A little bit of water off of that. How cool is that? Take a little break here with the tailwind. Get some electrolytes going for us. All right, so getting close to 4 miles in.
Starting to rain.
Starting to rain a little bit. Shouldn't be too long for us though. Well, that was a rough hill.
That was.
A couple hundred feet right there.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was good. Some of the hills are killer. That's why I really recommend these trekking poles when you're out doing this. You don't need them all the time, and you can stow them away, but up and down these big hills, they just help you out a little bit, keep you stable. So, yeah, if you don't have any, try to get some. Stop for a little snack break here.
Yes. Protein bars are a must.
Yeah, make sure you're bringing something. So, we'll made it to this Old Forest Road. Crossing over. Boy, that was one massive elevation back there. But here we are. Another little parking area. Probably three vehicles in there. A little bit of room. But Adventure Trail, 3 miles to Indian Creek Shelter. So we are at 5.6 miles into this hike and already 1,000 feet of elevation gain from the Rock Creek Trailhead parking area where we parked at. So certainly been pretty difficult so far. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's definitely been a bit of a challenge, but it's been so well worth it and really kind of what we're looking for. So
Yeah, now we're going to get on this east side and get some pretty views of this river coming up. Can't wait to get there. Sometimes coming down the hills is just as hard as going up. You have to kind of hard on your knees. The other part of it is you just know you got to go back up the other side of whatever hill you're on. So.
And we've been going down for quite some time. We're going to have a heck of an uphill climb shortly.
And we're still going down. But looks like the bottom is near. Got to the bottom of this one hill. You're often rewarded with what are dry creeks at the moment. We are late in October 2025. Leaves just starting to change a tiny bit. But yeah, dry creek bed makes for some, at least dry crossing. You won't get your feet wet. But up the other side. Here on the trail, coming across some spots where they've strategically logged some timber out of here along this trail. We're on a ridge, so there's the other side. A few feet down. Whew. That was a long uphill, wasn't it, Brittany?
Yeah.
We finally hit a flat section here. What were we, 1300, 13 something elevation gain right now, and a little over 7 miles in. So it's nice to have a little flat section just for a minute. So just over 8 miles in. Get our first look at Indian Creek down there. Probably really hard to see on camera, but out there several miles is a big ridge. This is a massive valley where that Indian Creek runs in. I'm fairly certain we get a better view coming up here shortly. All right, how we doing?
Oh, fine. How about you?
Fine. Everything's fine, right?
But it really is this time.
It really is this time, yes. Yeah, these new Hoka shoes, I've replaced the insole of mine for a little more support using a sole insole. And I couldn't recommend them more. They really changed these Hokas, which were a great shoe before. And we hiked all day yesterday and no foot pain at all. Today, so far, nothing again. So, yeah.
You should show them this ridge down here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Let's turn this around, check this out. A better view of this ridge. Just a few too many leaves on the trees yet to really get that great view, but in person, it's pretty epic. All right, here we go. Nice little outcropping of rocks. You can see here, right on the edge, such a nice view.
Down there, the really cool rock
Yeah.
shelves.
All right, 8.6 miles in.
Yeah, that's true.
Come across Indian Creek Shelter. These folks out here horsebacking. Such a beautiful view.
It's a cool.
Yeah, there's a cool little thing. So that's Indian Creek Shelter. Onward to, we got 1.3 miles to this primitive site. So down the trail. All right, looks like we made it to the primitive shelter here. Nothing more than a little lean-to shack. Fire ring. Be somewhere to camp if you are on the trail. I think we're gonna take a little break. All right, just leaving the primitive shelter here. 3 miles to the next landmark. Nice to sit down and have a break, rehydrate, refuel. Oh, 10 miles in, quite a few more to go. See all those rocks way upstream, and then this is where the little stream comes in there and goes down. We've been going downhill for a while. Looks like we're going up. All right, 3 miles later. Made our way to the chimney shelter. Let's go take a closer look at this. All right, here at the chimney shelter, just a small little structure. Take a look inside. There we go. You fit some stuff in there. And a big chimney. All right, well, we've hydrated, ready to hit the trail. All right, we had a nice long stop there, rehydrated. This first part's kind of kicked our butt. After yesterday's probably 20 miles and 13 or so miles today. 2.5 to Cold Friday Road, which is where we did a water drop this morning. That took forever. And a road detour through a creek, which I'm not lying, through a creek, right?
Yeah.
So let's go get our water. 2.5 miles up to that. All right, here in the Harrison Crawford State Forest, we walked up on the Marshall homestead. And what remains of it looks like a bit of foundation there. We have some old steps and concrete foundation. That is so cool. How neat would that have been how many years ago to live out here like this?
In the woods. That would have been fantastic.
Yes, it would have. All right, we have made it to Cold Friday Road. This old gravel road. There's some folks riding horses. And yeah, let's cross over the road here. We were right here this morning. Oh, let's see here, wait a minute. We got 2.5 miles to Lloyd Shelter. Not far. But we tippy-toed in the woods over here, left us a gallon of water, and there it is. All right, water jugs are full. It's time to get back on the trail. So I forgot to mention that this is a dry trail, especially this time of year. You'll see all over, hey, cache water. We cached the one water here at Cold Friday Road, and it's the gallon. And we had 3 liters on us, so those are all full now. We should be good for the night. But yeah, if you're coming to do the trail, make sure you bring plenty of water and strategically place some along the trail for yourself. The trail turns pretty rocky after you get past Cold Friday Road. And yeah, you just keep going up. We've got a long ways to go. Okay, halfway between Cold Friday Road and Lloyd Shelter. That was the steepest, biggest grade. I don't know how many hundreds feet, but that was a big one. So, stop and break. Maybe a little bit more to go, but how's a toughie?
That was.
All right, the trail's turned in basically to a set of stairs. It's not a long distance, but it's a long way down. And then right back up.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right.
You guys found a perfect spot for the hammocks.
Yeah. We came up, Lloyd's had a Boy Scout.
That was pretty cool, running some guys hammock camping here on the trail. Definitely want to try that sometime. But we'll stick to our tent tonight. All right, almost to Lloyd's Shelter, and you finally get a little bit of a peek of the Ohio River down there. Looks like there's a quarry across the way. Almost to Lloyd's Shelter here. Shouldn't be far now. We'll say the from Cold Friday Road to Lloyd's Shelter has been probably the roughest of the trail, with elevation gain and loss. There's spots up there are just almost crawling up. So yeah, prepare a little bit when you come out here and try this. That's a rough area. All right, looks like we made it to Lloyd's Shelter. Got some folks here camping out. Let's check it out, see what's going on. It looks like there's some Boy Scouts out here. There's a nice view of the Ohio River. Lloyd's Shelter, they got all sorts of hammocks going on. That's pretty cool. All right. We'll let them have the space here and we'll keep moving. Talk to some of the guys there. Some Boy Scouts doing the trail, camping out Lloyd's Shelter. Look like they're having a great time.
Oh yeah.
So we got 1.4 miles to the Pioneer Shelter. Looking down the trail, you can see we're back to a cliff face with all those stones down there, but check that out over there. So all that ground has eroded away and showed that bedrock out. How cool is that? There's too many leaves to get a better look at it, but can still make it out a little bit nonetheless. The trail happened to kind of make its way down here, and you get a better look at some of that rock face right off the trail. Such a cool sight. Okay, made it to the Pioneer picnic area. Looks like parking spots here. The very famous shelter with the chimney. Cool area. All right, looks like we got about 2 more miles to the campground, and sometime after that campground we'll find ourselves a camp.
Yes.
All right. Alright, there's a Blaze Adventure Trail to the left, to the campground. There's a different Pioneer Trail, pretty cool. Alright, let's continue. Alright, not far in from that trailhead. The trail here is not marked at all. The only way we're finding our way is just the leaves are kicked up. There's pretty cool rock formations in here. Very difficult to navigate. We ran into some guys that said, hey, be careful in here. They've gotten themselves turned around, and we had ourselves turned around there for
just a minute.
Just a minute, so looks like we're back on track. Alright, so we went for at least 1.5 miles without blazes, and now starting to pick a couple up. Trails more in the woods. Alright, a little over 20 miles in today. Probably almost 21. 5:46 in the evening. We probably can go another 20 minutes or so before we need to probably find this little camp. Need to find a flat spot first.
Yeah.
Alright, well, this looks like home for the night. About 21 miles in, just short of the Horseman's campground here. So let's set up camp. Alright, Brittany's got tent almost set up. We've got our pile of firewood, cooking some dinner. It's big enough. Don't get out of control. Alright. So here we are, found camp just right before this Horseman's, or the campground right here. We had about 21 miles today. So we got beef stroganoff from Peak Refuel. That's pretty tasty.
I have buffalo style mac and cheese, chicken mac and cheese.
Chicken mac and cheese. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to sit here, enjoy the fire, enjoy our dinner, and hit the sack early. So we'll see you tomorrow. Ready? All right, day 2 on the adventure hiking trail. We didn't stay too far from the campground because they had a concert or something going on last night. You could all through the woods. It was pretty funny. Had a great little spot here, just in the woods. The weatherman didn't call for any rain, but it sure blew, and we got lucky, didn't get any rain, but it was all around us last night. So we're hitting the trail. So it appears we've sort of missed the campground. We came up on what we thought was the horseman's campground there, and a road went up to the campground itself proper, and the trail went in a different direction. So we thought the trail would eventually come back into that campground. Well, it never did. But there is water at the campground if you need it, and some facilities from what we're told. So yeah, don't miss it like we did. But we're on our way towards Iron Bridge. Pretty cool rock formation here on the trail. Bet you if there was water running down that, make a cool waterfall.
Stones in the trail here.
All right, made it down here to the fire lane. Looks like the adventure trails down this gravel road, back down into that valley. If we were to keep going, the Iron Bridge is just down this gravel road. Not too far from here. All right, we walked up to the trail that goes down, and map showing us where we're at. We're there. Iron Bridge is just to the west of that. We're going east. Starting to make our way towards the old hog barn. So we decided not to go to the Iron Bridge and just continue on towards the Jeep. Looks like we have about 6 miles, give or take a little bit. Some pretty hefty elevation loss and gain here coming up though. But we're ready. After a good night's sleep, feels good to be back on the trail today. All right, back up the other side of that valley, we were rewarded with a pretty nice view. All right, about halfway between that fire lane and the old hog barn, it's a nice little campsite here. Big old fire ring, plenty of spots for some hammocks or tents. It's pretty flat right here, it looks nice. And yeah, spectacular view of that valley below. All right, popped out here. There's the trail, there's marker 335. The old hog barn has just continued down this gravel road, 1/8 mile or so. And we're gonna keep trucking down the trail. Got about 1.9 miles to the rendezvous point, and then about 1.7 back to the Jeep. Rendezvous point is kind of down. And it's like,
I'm ready.
Did it. All right, back on the move after a short break. That was a pretty massive incline we just came up. We're probably, I don't know, a mile from that hog barn, going towards rendezvous point. Okay, here we are, the rendezvous point. that continues around the loop out to the south. We are going back to the Jeep. Rock Creek parking lot, hooray! Another 1.7 miles to go. All right, well that wraps it up for us on the Adventure Hike and Trail. Not bad for 2 nights out here. What did you think?
I thought it was pretty fantastic. The trail gave you definitely a good challenge. Not too much, but it gave you a definitely hard challenge. Some very good views. The rock formations are incredible. You definitely have to take a few moments to enjoy those. But
Yeah, it's a little walk in the woods-ish for us. We've done a few other trails that had more scenic views, but definitely a good challenge. The Adventure Hike and Trail, put it on your map. And thank you so much for joining us on this adventure, and we will see you on our next adventure.